Hi, how are you doing? This is IBM-i By Doing. Welcome to IBM-i By Doing, a series of video sessions in which we do hands-on projects programming the IBM-i mid-range computer. I'm Madhu Vasudevan with over 20 years of IBM-i work experience at your service. The target audience is newbie programmers who want to learn RPG-4 or RPG ILE on IBM-i. We will mount our RPG bikes right on top of the subfile hill and slide down the valley of data file processing in RPG-4 ILE. Just follow along, working along with me. You will be able to do this. Early in this series, we will tackle the fabled RPG subfile, and we will create every possible variation of the subfile. We will create physical files, logical files, display files, printer files, and of course the RPG ILE programs to handle all these files. We will create some information display screens, some data entry screens, and generate some reports. Welcome to this session on RPG-4 ILE programming. In this virtual life on the cloud, you are a crossing guard on the Hogsmeade Railroad Station. Besides escorting newbie schoolers to the Hogwarts School of Magic, you have to build the computer interface for Muggle parents who want the train's departure information at hogwarts.com. In this magical session, we will cast a spell to create a physical file to hold train's information, create a display file with a subfile for keying in the train's information to enable heads-down data entry, create a data entry subfile program to enter data into the train's information database file, run the data entry program to populate the physical file with the train's information, query the train's physical file to view the entered records. Our data entry subfile program will allow users to input multiple train records in one screen. This allows for the so-called heads-down data entry method of keying in data, record after record, without pausing to look up. After entering a screen full of data records, user will press enter to save the records. The program will save only valid records to the physical file. Invalid records will be brought up for review. This process can be continued as long as user wants. Finally, F3 may be pressed to quit the data entry program and end the data entry session. The newly added records may be viewed by querying the physical file. This subfile query program we will write later in another hands-on video. For now, we will run the query command to view the data records added to the train's physical file. To keep us motivated to produce more of such high-quality free content, please subscribe to this channel. Hit the like button below, leave a comment or two, and share this video with your colleagues, friends, and other IBM-i enthusiasts. Hit the bell icon below to actively follow along with the rest of our series. Let's create the physical file to hold train information. Let's connect to an IBM-i. For the purpose of this free educational video, I am using the free access given by the kind folks at pub400.com. You can sign up for free with a valid, verifiable email ID. The link is in this video's description. For the client, I am using the TN5250 emulator from sourceforge.net project TN5250. It is a free download, and that link is also in this video's description. But feel free to use any emulator or client access available to you. Launch the client 5250 terminal emulator. Sign on to the IBM-i. To ensure that your IBM-i uses the dot and not the comma as the decimal point, from the IBM-i command line, key in the command, change job, and take an F4. Then take an F10. You can widen the screen and scroll down looking for decimal format. Key in star blank for decimal format and hit enter. Next, check your library list. Key in the command DSP-LIBL and hit enter. Note your current library. I will change mine to my second library, which I will use exclusively for this project. Hit F3 to return to command line. Key in the command change current lib to your second library and hit enter. Note the message that your current library has been changed. Verify that by keying in the command DSPLIBL again and hitting enter. Hit F3 to return to command line. Next, check the content of your current library. Key in the command DSPLIB and the library name and hit enter. Note that my current library is empty. We will start from scratch. Hit F3 to return to command line. We need to create a file to hold our source code. Such a file that holds source code is called a source physical file, as opposed to a data physical file which will hold data like our trains data. Further, by convention, we need separate source physical files to hold different types of source code. For holding our RPG code, we will need to create a source physical file called RPGLE src. We will create that source physical file shortly, but first we need to create a source physical file that will hold the schemas of the data file objects that we will create. To hold the source code schemas of all the physical, logical, and display files that we are going to create for this trains project, I will create the source physical file called QDDS src. So key in the command create source physical file and take an F4. Key in the file name QDDS src. Although library defaults to my current library, I will ensure it gets created in my second library by tabbing over to the library field and keying in the name of my second library. Tab over to the record length and increase the length of the file to 112. Double tab to the description line and key in DDS source file and hit enter. Note the successful file creation message in the bottom. Check the addition of the first object in your project library by keying in the command DSPLIB library name and hit enter. Note that it is a file object of attribute PF. Of all the file types that we will see, those with attribute PF are the only ones which will hold raw data. File QDDS src will hold the source code of file description schemas. DDS stands for Data Definition Specifications. Press F3 to return to command line. So, let's write the schema of our trains physical file. We will use the source entry utility SEU as our source code editor for this task. To launch SEU, first key in the command strpdm to start PDM or Program Development Manager and hit enter. Take option 3 to work with source code members. Ensure file name is QDDS src and library is your project library. And hit enter. Now you are inside the Program Development Manager PDM. Key in F6 to create a new member. Key in the member name train set. Key in the source type PF for physical file. Press the field exit, which in my keyboard is the long plus key, to clear the rest of the input field and move cursor to the next input field. For description, key in set of trains and hit enter. Source physical file member train set is open and ready for the schema of the physical file train set. Note the column specifications ruler in the topmost row. Use right arrow key to move cursor under A. Then move it one column to the right. Then use down arrow key to move cursor to the very last line. Key in a star and hit enter. You have made a comment line. Scroll up to the right and key in the comment end of specifications. Press Shift plus F1 key to change session defaults. Against uppercase input only, press N and hit enter. Press Home key to get cursor to command line on top. Move cursor to first input line under column A. Press a few star symbols for comment. Key in physical file train set definition and hit enter. In the next line, to generate a column specifications ruler, move cursor to the line number column in an input line and key in an F and hit enter. In the next line, under column specification, functions, key in the file level keyword unique and press enter. This will ensure that the system does not allow duplicate records to be added to this physical file. In the next line, under column specification T, key in the entry type R. Under name, key in the record name trnrec for train record and hit enter. Next line, under name, field name train number. Last column of length 5. Under data type, A for alphanumeric. Under functions, key in text train number, hit enter. Tab over to line number column, go up, repeat RP 7 space enter. We need 8 fields or 8 columns in this physical data file. Let's specify the field names and attributes one by one. Second field, center. Length 6, attribute alpha. Text description, train destination. Close quote, close bracket, enter. Next field, weekdays, W days. Length 3, alphanumeric. Text description, weekdays train departs. Hit enter. Next field, start time, str time, 4 packed 0 decimals. Text, time train starts, enter. Next field, PLTF for platform, length 4, zoned 0 decimals. Text description, platform train leaves. Next field, ticket 5 pack 2 decimals. Text description, trip fare in Canuts. Hit enter. The currency of the Kingdom of Magic, Canuts. Let's put in a default value for the trip fare of 100 Canuts. Tab over to line column, position on the same line, I and enter. Move cursor under functions, DFT for default, within bracket 100.00, close bracket, enter and enter. So while adding a new record, if no value is specified for the column ticket, system will enter the default value of 100 for that field ticket. Moving on to next field, engineer, length 15, alphanumeric, text description, train engineer, close quote, close bracket, enter. Last field, commissioned date, COMMDT. This is a date field, so no length specification, just L under type, text description, train commissioned date, close quote, close bracket, enter. Let's put in a default format for date format, DAT FMT, date format, star USA. Hit enter. Moving on to key specification. For key field, align under R under the type in a new empty line. Put in a K for key field, space, under field name, under N, key in the first field, the train number. Train number, that is our key field. Hit enter and we are done. We can delete the unnecessary lines below. So tab over to the line number column, key in D and 10, space, enter, delete the next 10 lines. Move cursor to the str time fields row, press F4. Note the prompt help identifies the input columns. Tab over to the data type column, press F1. Note the various data types allowed. Page down for next page, another page down, page up, and F12 to exit the help page. Press enter to continue the prompt for the next line. Tab over to the input column field. Shift tab to tab over in the reverse direction. Note that after keying in an entry, especially for numeric fields, you should press field exit to blank out the rest of the field and press F11 to resume prompt for previous line. Press F12 to exit prompt mode of input. So that was just a demonstration of how you can take an F4 prompt on any line and take help on any column by pressing F1, F12 to end the help, F12 again to exit prompt mode. Press F3 to exit SEU. Against change create member, press Y and hit enter. Note the message in the bottom. PDM says that you have created a source code member called train set in the source physical file QDDS src. You have to compile this member to create the physical file object called train set, which will hold the actual raw trains information as data. To compile this member train set into a data file of the same name, type 14 against the member and hit enter. The crtpf create physical file command compiles the source member and creates the physical file object of the same name in your current library, which is your project library. You should see the file created success message in the bottom. If not, key 2 against the member and hit enter. To go back to editing the source member, rewind this video a little and compare the finished code. Use the column specifications ruler on top. Move cursor to any line from the line numbers pane. Press F and enter to get the column specifications ruler. Use the column specifications ruler to ensure that you got every column correct. Press F3 to save your changes. You can press F5 to clear the ruler, which is never embedded in the source code but is only a visual aid. Press F3 when you're done again. Press Y to save your changes. Then recompile the member with a 14 and hit enter. If the file already exists because of a successful compilation earlier, you can say yes, delete existing object. Remember, this will delete any data if it exists in the file. Since we do not yet have any data in our physical file, we can just delete and recreate this same physical file again. So hit enter here and that object, the data physical file, is again created. First it says deleted. Scroll down to the message. Press a page down and you will see file train set created again in library of your project. Press F3 a few times till you are back in the main menu. Check on your data file. Key in the command dsplib madhu-v2, display library, your project library, and hit enter. Besides source physical file QDDS src, you should also see the physical file object train set. F3 out of the display. Let's examine the newly created physical file object. Key in the command dspfd, display file description, library name / file name train set. Hit enter. Scroll up a few pages. Note the unique attribute, the record format name, and the key field name, etc. At the very bottom, note that the data physical file also has typically one member. The actual data will be held in this member of the same name as the file. Press F3 to exit the display. Let's examine the fields in the newly created physical file object. Key in the command DSP FFD for display file field description, library name / file name train set. Hit enter. Scroll up beyond the record format name and note the field names, attributes, lengths, and positions. The default trip fare in Canuts is also there. Press F3 to exit the display. Finally, let's see what data is in the data physical file. Key in the command run query, run QRY *n, library name / file name. Library names, object names, file names are not case sensitive. Hit enter. As expected, our physical file train set has no records. Press F3 to exit the display. We have successfully created the physical file. Having created the physical file to hold trains information, let's create a display file with a subfile for keying in the train's information. To keep us motivated to produce more of such high-quality free content, please subscribe to this channel. Hit the like button below, leave a comment or two, and share this video with your colleagues, friends, and other IBMi enthusiasts. Hit the bell icon below to actively follow along with the rest of our series.